In this tutorial, we will create a digital ad design in InDesign. The practice files for this exercise can be found in the description below. Here's an example of what we will create today. Let's get started. Open InDesign and go to File, New Document. Go to the Print preset and choose Letter 8.5 by 11. Let's come to the right-hand column and look at the preset details. So you can type in a document name. This shows us the size of our document, 8.5 by 11 in inches. The orientation. You want to turn off facing pages because we are just creating a single page document. And then it's already setting up some margins for my document, which is great. We'll just leave those where they are. Click Create. First thing I like to do when I'm creating a design in InDesign is to set up some guides for my document. Go to Layout, Margins and Columns. We already set up some margins when we use the letter preset, and you can see those here. We have 1/2 inch margins. I'm also going to set up 4 columns in my document, and you can see it added 4 columns into my document. The gutter is the space between the columns. I like to have that at about 1/4 inch, and click OK. You can easily show and hide your guides on a document. On a Mac, it's Command:. You can also go to View, Grids and Guides, and you can hide the guides. Let's start by placing an image into our file. I'm going to use the rectangle tool in our toolbar. I'm going to draw a shape on our document that will hold our image. So I'm going to make this shape close to a square on the top of the document, going from edge to edge. So you can see my square is here. And what we're going to do next is place an image inside this shape. If you downloaded the practice files, we're going to put an image of surfers here. So you can go to File, Place, navigate to the image on your computer that you want to place. So I've grabbed my surfer image, and I'm going to click Open. And what it did, InDesign placed my image perfectly inside this shape. You can also adjust the placement. You can zoom into this photo in a couple ways. So when I hover over this photo, I see a little circle here. If I click that circle, you can then drag your image around inside this shape. If you hold down Shift, you can also Shift, hold, and drag to zoom in to the image. But a good rule of thumb is if you hover over the image, just use this circle and click, and you can adjust the image placement inside the shape. Let's place some text into our file. Select the Type tool in your toolbar, and I'm just going to click and hold and drag a text box. So type the words, "Learn to surf in Maui." So to style the text, we need to open our character panel. So if you're using the typography workspace, you can find that character panel on the right-hand side. You can also get to it from Window, Type and Tables, Character. I'm going to select this text. You can click and hold and drag your cursor over it. You can also double-click the text to select it. Go ahead and change your text to be a sans serif font. That means it's a font with no serifs at the end. I'm actually just going to use Helvetica. So I'm going to type in Helvetica. And I want this to be a pretty bold version of Helvetica, so a heavier weight font. And I'm going to increase the size quite a bit. I'm going to make it also go to 2 lines and make it all caps. So in my character panel, if you click the hamburger menu, there's an option for all caps. You can adjust the space between the lines, which is called leading. Let's move this text down just a little bit so it fits underneath these surfers nicely. And then last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color of this font. I actually want this font to be white. So I'm going to select the font again, go to my swatches. So these are color swatches. I can see the swatches menu on the right-hand side. You can also get to it from Window, Color, Swatches. My swatches panel, I'm going to select paper. Let's make that text white. Okay, this is starting to look good. Now we need to add some supporting text within our grid. I'm going to use the Type tool again, and let's put our supporting content in this white box below. So I'm going to click and hold, and I'm going to drag a text box to be 3-column width. And InDesign has a nice feature. You can put in placeholder text by right-clicking your text box and say fill with placeholder text. It filled that whole box with text. We're not going to need this much text. We'll delete a little bit of it. Let's change our font. So select the text, go back to your character panel, and I am also going to make this font Helvetica, the same as my headline, but I just need a regular weight. I don't need it to be bold. I'm going to get rid of about half of this text. So I'm going to select it and just click delete. A little more. We just need 5 or 6 lines at the most. Okay, next, let's add a CTA. So this is an ad design. What do you want someone to do when they look at your ad? You want them to go to a website. You want them to take an action. So I'm actually just going to copy and paste my paragraph of text to use that as a starting point. So copy, paste. And we're going to move that down. I'm just going to delete most of this text here. I'm going to type in visit surfhawaii.com to sign up for lessons. Okay, the CTA is kind of small, so I'm going to select it all. And instead of the same font size as our paragraph, let's make it bigger. And then lastly, for CTA, I want that URL to stand out. So instead of Helvetica regular, I'm going to go with a bold font just on my URL. We have a logo that we're going to add to this ad, and it's going to go right in this blank space here. So with your rectangle tool, draw a square in these columns on the right. Next, we're going to place a logo in that square. So go to File, Place, and I have a logo file called surfhawaiilogo.eps. Select this. What it did, it dropped that logo into that shape. It's not all there. There's actually a line around this whole logo, and I'm only seeing part of the line. So what I need to do, I need to fit this logo into the shape a little bit better. There are some options within InDesign in the Properties panel that can help with this. I actually see the Properties panel above my artboard. So if you don't see any of these, you can go to Window, Properties, and they should pop up. But I'm going to use these options here and just see what happens. Okay, so this says fill frame proportionally. Let me try the next one, fill content proportionally. Okay, it looks like my whole logo is there. I have a line around the whole logo. Let's look at this design in preview mode. So on the bottom of the toolbar, there's a little box, and if you hover over it, you're currently looking at it in normal mode. But if you click and hold, you can show it in the preview mode. And this really allows you to see the design without all the extra stuff around it. Overall, I think this is looking really good. There are some edits I want to make and some colors that I would like to add. So I'm going to go back to normal mode. Let's create a new color swatch based on the branding in this logo. If we zoom in, there's some nice colors in this logo design. There's kind of a teal, which is similar to our photograph. That's kind of nice. They play nice together. The Surf Hawaii text is kind of a dark green. So I actually want to use that dark green as my text color instead of black. Let's go to our swatches panel. To create a new color swatch, just hit the hamburger menu in the swatches panel and say new color swatch. We are not setting this up for print. This is set up for digital. So instead of CMYK, I'm going to choose RGB. The hex code that I'm going to use is 1A4949. So I'm typing that down in the hex code space in this color swatch box. And there is our new color swatch. So what we need to do, we're going to select our text and then select the new color swatch instead of black. And I'm going to do that the same for our CTA. We'll also want to color this text. So select the text and click the new swatch. So now our text matches the logo. That's really nice. I actually want to put a color behind this white box. Let's use our rectangle tool one more time. Select rectangle tool. And I actually just want you to draw a rectangle over here off to the side of your artboard. Mine filled with this color automatically. Yours may not fill with anything. But what we are going to do, we are actually going to select a color out of this bright photograph to use as a background color for the bottom section. I'm going to select the eyedropper tool on the bottom of our toolbar. If you don't see it, it should be located near the bottom. You may have to click on a couple of these options to find the eyedropper tool. So click and hold. If you don't see the eyedropper tool, select it. So I am going to actually select a color out of one of these yellow surfboards. This one in the middle might have the lightest yellow. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to click with my eyedropper tool into this surfboard. And what this did is it sampled the color from this surfboard and it put that color into my shape. If for some reason yours didn't work, make sure that your swatches are in the right order. You could have colored an outline instead of actually filling the shape. Just drag this rectangle to the bottom and I'm going to fill this white space. So resize that rectangle so it's over all the white section of this ad. Problem is that I just covered up all of my text. So I need to move this shape to the back. You can right click, click arrange, send to back. I like the branding. I think it feels a lot brighter and more exciting with the yellow. So let's preview this again. I'm going to go to the bottom of my toolbar, click this view option and click preview. Okay, and this is a great opportunity, seeing it without all the grids and the guides, to make any last minute adjustments that you might need to. For instance, I think my CTA is a little far away from this text, so I'm going to move that up just a little bit. And I might even move all of my elements in this yellow box, just move them all down so they fill this space a little bit better. My design looks great. I'm going to save it. So go to File, Save, and save the file on your computer. You can rename it if you need to. And then the last step, if I was actually going to send this out and it was going to be part of a digital magazine, probably would send a PDF file versus an InDesign file. That's what we've been working on, is an InDesign file. Saving a PDF is very easy. So go to File, Export, and you have some different PDF options. You can do an interactive PDF or a print PDF. We're not printing this file, so we just need an interactive PDF. You have some interactive PDF options. I'm not going to change anything here. I'm just going to click Export. And then here is a PDF of my ad design. That is how you create a digital ad design using Adobe InDesign. Follow Cry Studio for more InDesign tips and tutorials. Thanks so much.